All right, you want to talk about hypocrisy. I remember Earth Day as a kid. Earth Day was like a sweet day, wasn't it?
Yeah, you could get out the construction paper and everyone would draw their own picture of the Earth.
People would plant trees and flowers, and we'd be reminded not to throw litter and trash on the side of the road, right? It was about keeping garbage from accumulating. And it was about how wonderful trees are.
It was a happy time.
It was a happy time. And now it's a whole industry. It has been politicized, agendized. There's enormous amounts of government money spent on all kinds of, crackpot global warming programs. And now I hear Earth Day and I cringe. I do. I get physically ill. It's like, oh no, Earth Day. It's going to be more preaching and more bull crap and global warming and climate change and blah, 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 blah.
And the Earth doesn't even like Earth Day anymore because Earth Day is mean to the Earth.
Earth Day is a nasty day now. It's not a happy day.
It's filled with carbon dioxide. Filled with it.
Yeah, and one of the greatest emitters of carbon dioxide is President Obama. The Daily Mail out of London has this story. Obama will burn more than 35,000 gallons of fuel on Earth Day, emitting 375 tons of carbon dioxide. It says here he's marking the 44th Earth Day with 15 hours on Air Force One and 15 minutes on the Marine One helicopter. And not including his motorcades in the state of Washington, or I guess they're visiting the mudslide, his trip will consume 35,565 gallons of fuel on Earth Day. And they checked with the U.S. Energy Information Administration, and they found out that equals to 375 tons. There's no word on any carbon offsets, on whether they're planting any trees to suck up this carbon dioxide.
God, that'd be a hell of a lot of trees, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's... Now, if you went to the White House website online, you would find a White House lecture demanding that people become aware of threats from global warming.
Yeah, right after he took off on this trip, the White House declared Earth Day a day about taking action.
Our health, our economy, our security, and our planet's future are once again threatened by pollution and environmental degradation. That is the White House official blog on the day he blows 375 tons of carbon dioxide in the air.
That was released right as he got on the helicopter to fly from the White House to Andrews Air Force Base. And that 15-minute trip burned about 4 times the size of a modern economy car's fuel tank.
Our climate is changing, and that change is being driven by human activity. Every year, the United States pumps millions of tons of carbon dioxide, pollution, and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Not only that, Obama's trip costs $228,000 an hour.
This was bad timing. If you're going to talk the talk, you can't take off like this on Earth Day, and you think that these articles aren't going to come out. You just don't look very smart when you plan things like this.
These people are clowns. They don't believe in this stuff. Global warming has always been a cover for the government to tax businesses and get control through regulation of how businesses behave. It is about control. It is about taxation. It is about getting the government in the lives of business owners and taking their money. It's extortion. Because if you really believe this, if you really did, how could you blow 375 tons of carbon dioxide into the air?
No,
how could you do that?
You would call for a day of no travel. You would call for meetings at the White House. You would not go anywhere. I would assume. I think that would be a good PR stunt. The president is using Earth Day not to use any carbon dioxide or, any trips.
And that's right. You don't burn anything. You turn off all the lights in your house. You don't drive. You just sit in your back lawn naked and meditate.
Okay. See, you just had to take someone's clothes off, didn't you?
Ken's
not here to take anyone's clothes off, so you have to do it.
The EPA.
I knew something was missing. There's been no nakedness here.
Yeah, no nudity references all week. Now, the EPA is celebrating Earth Week by jet-setting across the country on a multi-city tour. This is according to the executive director, Jeff Rutch, of the Public Employees for Environmental Responsibility.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
I don't know what that is.
I don't want to work there. That's what I know.
But he's discovered that the EPA chief administrator, Gina McCarthy, is going to be traveling to 5 cities this week as part of its Earth Week tour. Quote, to ask Americans to act on climate change through simple actions to reduce carbon pollution in their daily lives.
The theme of this campaign is to teach people how to commute without polluting. And she is doing just that. Did you get a look at a picture of her? She looks like Anthony Hopkins. Doesn't she? She looks like she's about to take a bite out of someone's face.
Yeah, that's a harsh-looking woman. Now, she's flying around, and this organization says that air travel emits 2 to 3 tons of carbon dioxide per person on cross-country flights. And it says here that McCarthy travels home to Boston nearly every week.
Yeah, and this Public Employees for Environmental Responsibility says, hasn't the EPA heard of Skype? I mean, really?
She herself emits between 7.5 and 9.5 tons of carbon dioxide per year.
That's
all by herself.
That's hefty load.
Yeah, well, she looks like she's a big woman. She's got a lot of carbon dioxide in her.
It.
So now, among the things she's doing on this tour, because they're flying to New York, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, and Memphis. And one of these global warming events, she's joining the energy secretary to throw out the first pitch at the Red Sox-Yankee game today at Fenway Park. So they're
just having anyone throw out those first pitches these days.
Who wants to see 2 government bureaucrats?
One that looks like Anthony Hopkins in a skirt.
What, is the Boston crowd going to go crazy? It's like, well, look at that. That's the EPA administrator, Hazel. Look at that. It's Earth Day. She just blew 12 tons of carbon dioxide into the air, and she's thrown out the first pitch. It's like, is everybody crazy? What the hell's wrong with everyone? Everybody who works in the EPA should not be allowed near a plane or a bus or a car.
Especially on Earth Day.
Yeah. They give them all segues.
I get that they're going to have to travel for their job, but on Earth Day, going on a 5-city tour to promote commuting without polluting?
Because they don't really believe this. We come back. This is kind of a warm-up to David Cruz. I just want to get it in now because once we get on with David, he's got 2 huge stories. And we're not going to get a chance to work this in. David Cruz...